Okay, we are recording, and thank you everybody for joining us tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share, and let's talk about some new stuff that's going on. Actually, I'm going to go through some questions first. So this was a question that came up. Let me do the screen share. This was a question that came up in the Facebook group, and I wanted to address it in a video format because there's a lot of moving parts to this question. I couldn't just put into a simple answer in the Facebook group. So the gentleman wanted to know what is the difference between the Chi machine and the vibration plates in the context of the detoxination program. So what I did was I put together a comparison between the two different actions and how these mechanisms work and what their benefits are. And I'm going to go ahead and read through this. This is probably better if I just read through it. But so the original Chi machine, and there are knockoffs. There are knockoffs that do not do the job. These original Chi machines were designed to mimic ninja warrior training. So the way they work, basically, the movement is the Chi machine gently oscillates the body back and forth while laying down, creating a figure-8 motion. So just imagine a fish swimming. And what happens is that the ninjas, one would lay down, one would grab the ankles of the one that's laying down and start to do a figure-8 motion. And that would get the body moving like a fish swimming. And that moves the lymphatic system and gets the blood circulation going. So that's why these are really great for our program. In fact, here's an image of what it looks like when somebody's laying down with their feet up in the stirrups. So the benefits of it, it enhances blood circulation, like I mentioned, which can help in the distribution and removal of toxins. Then lymphatic drainage, your lymphatic system is your drainage system, but it's mostly dealing with toxins as the definition goes. So toxins are an antigenic poison or venom of plant or animal origin produced by or derived from microorganisms, and in low concentrations in the body can cause harm. So mostly the kinds of things that the lymphatic system is dealing with is actual natural toxins, not heavy metals and man-made chemicals, although there are some there. So anyway, the lymphatic drainage does promote the lymphatic flow, aiding the removal of waste products and toxins from the body. And of course, yes, relaxation. It provides a gentle, relaxing experience that can reduce stress and promote a sense of well-being. And in fact, it is a really interesting feeling. Once you've been on a Chi machine for, let's say, 6 to 8 minutes, the body has this tingling sensation, which is so unique to any other. I've never seen this feeling or had this feeling with anything else. So you actually feel the body is tingling, and it's really kind of pleasant. So how would we integrate this into the detox? Well, it's good for pre-sauna. So using the Chi machine before sauna sessions can help mobilize the toxins and improve circulation, which does prepare the body for sweating out the toxins. And daily use is perfect. Regular use can support overall detoxification by continuously promoting good circulation and lymphatic drainage. And we do have one here and do use it. It's an absolutely amazing little device. I strongly recommend them. Now, comparing this to vibrational plates. So the mechanism of action of a vibration plate is whole body vibration. And so the vibrational plates create a high frequency vibration that transmits energy through the body, causing muscles to contract and relax rapidly. This is a lot different in the way the Chi machine works. The muscle activation is these rapid contractions can improve muscle strength, circulation, and lymphatic flow. So this is kind of the energy thing that you can stand on, and has I mean the vibrations are something that are just absolutely unreal. All right, so the benefits: muscle engagement enhances muscle strength and tone, which can aid in the physical aspects of detoxification. Improves circulation, promotes blood flow and lymphatic drainage, similar to the Chi machine, but with more intensity. Bone density. Now, this is good to know because it may improve bone density and overall physical fitness, which can benefit long-term health. So bone density in elderly people, the osteoporosis or osteopenia, these are concerns that we have, and a lot of the times it's toxin related with osteopenia. So Anyway, integration into detoxination. So pre-exercise, using the vibrational plates before exercise can enhance muscle activation and circulation, potentially making the exercise component of the detoxination protocol more effective. Post-sauna, using vibrational plates after sauna sessions can help further stimulate circulation and lymphatic drainage, aiding in the removal of toxins mobilized during the sauna. So it's good for before and after. So the similarities: circulation and lymphatic drainage. Both devices enhance blood circulation and lymphatic flow, which are crucial for effective detoxification. Relaxation and well-being. Both can contribute to overall relaxation and stress reduction, supporting the body's detoxification processes. Now, their differences in the intensity. Vibrational plates provide a more intense workout for muscles and can improve physical fitness and bone density, while the Chi machine offers a more gentler and more passive approach. Muscle engagement. So vibrational plates actively engage muscles through rapid contractions, whereas the Chi machine's movement is more about passive stimulation of circulation and lymphatic flow. So keep this part in mind. The Chi machine, we started implementing in the protocol for people who cannot really do any kind of physical activity. They just have no ability to do exercise or even breathing techniques. So it's important to understand that the Chi machine was something that we've been using for a long time for the people who just cannot exercise. The vibrational plates were something that we only just recently introduced as a concept into this program as I learned more and more about the value of them. We didn't have them back in 1980s, 1990s timeframe. So these weren't something I was really made aware of until I started working with people who had them and were using them and really touted their benefits. But again, they're good for both pre and post detox, and they are more active on the body than the Chi machine. So the Chi machine is best suited for individuals who prefer a gentler approach and for use before sauna sessions to gently stimulate circulation and lymphatic flow. The vibrational plates, by the way, I didn't say this, but ideal for those looking for a more active form of stimulation, best used before exercise to enhance muscle activation or after sauna sessions to boost circulation and lymphatic drainage. So basically, the Chi machine would be something you use before you go into the sauna. In fact, it would be something that could replace exercise, whereas the vibrational plates are actually great for if you want to do that and do exercise as well, pre and post detox. So it can substitute for exercise, but the vibrational plates can be done in combination with exercise. So. All right, so the conclusion, both the Chi machine and vibrational plates can be beneficial in the detoxination program, but their usage can be tailored based on individual needs and preferences. For gentle, relaxing stimulation that enhances circulation and lymphatic flow, the Chi machine is an excellent choice. For more intense muscle activation and overall physical fitness benefits, vibrational plates are highly effective. Integrating either or both into the detoxination protocol can enhance detoxification outcomes by supporting the body's natural elimination processes. So there's the answer to the gentleman's question, and this will be posted to the Facebook group for sure. So let me stop the share. And somebody's been trying to get my attention, and it's no big deal. Could have been my wife. So anyway, does anybody have any questions that they have regarding the program or the Chi machine, the vibrational plates, or the saunas, binders, anything? Please go ahead and just unmute and ask away. Okay, if nobody has any questions right now, let me go back to the screen share. I do have several questions that I can certainly get the ball rolling with. So Gina has sent me a list of questions, and they are more, I think, related to actually being on the program. So I don't normally like to answer these questions in the Facebook group simply because I have a lot of people who have paid for my protocol advice or my coaching and things like that. And I find it's disrespectful to them if I answer actual protocol questions in the group. The group is designed to explain to people that this protocol exists, how it works, and also how effective it is. But I don't go into details with the actual protocol. I'm afraid people will start to dabble with it and not fully read the protocol guidebook or our book itself, the sauna detoxification using niacin. So I really don't want anybody dabbling with this program. It's very, very powerful. And so we don't really dive deep into how the program is done in the group. But during these Zoom in with Daniel Roots, I've kind of allowed these questions simply because I think it's important that I make sure people get as best of a result they can. And this is a live forum, and I want people to really participate more in these forums. I call it a fireside chat. But anyway, can any type of exercise work as long as it increases heart rate enough? And pretty much I kind of covered that with the Chi machine and the vibrational plates. The important thing to note is that this is all about getting the heart rate up, and it's not about like doing a HIIT workout or a full-on workout. We're not trying to get the heart rate too high because you can go from a fat burn to a carb burn in a hurry. So we want to make sure that we have an idea of what the training heart rate range is, and it's based on weight, so, or excuse me, age. So if you take 220 minus your age, take that number and multiply it by 0.6 and then 0.85. Those two values are going to be your range between the low end of the beats per minute to the high end of beats per minute. And if you go above the high end of the beats per minute with the exercise, you run the risk of going from a fat burn to a carb burn, and that's going to really defeat the purpose of the exercise. We want to stay in a fat burn. We want to continue to manipulate fat. So yeah, any kind of exercise, including breathing techniques. So I have a breathing technique that I recommend that I used to think was a Wim Hof breathing technique, and it turned out it was actually Tony Robbins. It's called the priming exercise, and you can look that up on YouTube. There's a couple of short videos, like 11 or 15 minutes. All we care about is the first part of those videos where he's explaining how to do the breathing technique. Anyway, so yes, any type of exercise can work. Now, if anybody has questions you want to interrupt here, because I'm just going to go through these until somebody interrupts me. But anyway, the second question she had is, if detox levels increase too much, can you skip a day of niacin while still doing sauna and binders? And she says, realize that the best option is probably to go down one or more levels on niacin, but wondering if this can be a valid option if things get overwhelming. So Gina, yes, the point is that the rebound lipolysis, or lipolysis as I used to say in the other videos, rebound lipolysis is going to be daily liberating toxins at 3 times normal levels. And yet there's about a 72-hour window where toxins, once they get liberated, are going to either be eliminated through your sebaceous sweat or picked up by binders, or they're going to go back into the liver and go through what's called enterohepatic recirculation, and the liver is going to attempt to break them down again, won't be able to, so they wind up either the next day getting eliminated through sebaceous sweat or picked up by binders, or they're going to get sequestered, and that's called redistribution. So essentially, if you're getting too many toxins being liberated each day, you can hold the dose that you had from the prior day. You can do that for a couple of days. Now, there is a point to, if you have to skip a day when you're not able to use the sauna, that's when you do something a little differently. You're going to actually take the dose from 2 days ago, and you're going to double your zeolite doses each time you take it. So yes, so that is how you do things if the levels of toxins in the blood, the released or liberated xenobiotics, get overwhelming. You can hold for a couple of days. And if you're a client of mine and you're using the online workbook with a log sheet, you can update the actual amount of niacin that you took. And it's best to just consult with me too if you're going to do that. All right, so she asks if I have to slow the process by reducing protocol or taking longer to increase levels of niacin, should I extend the number of days or stop at 30 and pause, or pause and start again after a period of time? So essentially what this question is about is if she did have to miss or hold the niacin dose for a couple of days, does that mean she adds more days at the end of the protocol? And the answer is really no. The point is that you're still detoxing each day as long as you're in the sauna. Some people that do have to miss a day because of, maybe they had a fever or life got in the way, and so they couldn't sauna a day, could add another day to their program. But I do not like for people to go beyond 30 days on this program. So you should do a 30-day program and then pause for a minimum of 2 weeks, and then go ahead and if it takes another month or two, that's fine too, but get on to another program. Because if you recall from my other videos and things, that our studies do show that the body burden reductions on a 30-day program are about 1/3. So we recommend people consider doing the protocol more than once, especially if you've had anything like gadolinium toxicity. That's going to, even just one MRI with contrast is going to need to have probably more like 3 or 4 of these 30-day programs to really start to see results. All right. And by the way, if you guys have any questions on these issues that I'm talking about here, just unmute and throw them out there. All right, here's a question I've seen a lot. Can diatomaceous earth be used as a binder? I don't know why anybody would want to put diatomaceous earth in their body. In fact, I've done a lot of research on binders, and diatomaceous earth is not really scientifically validated as a binder. I kind of laugh when I think about this because, if our pets somehow, cause a flea infection or infestation in our house, we would throw diatomaceous earth down on the carpets to have these fleas, basically cut open their exoskeletons with the diatomaceous earth. And I know there's food grade. You don't need to tell me that in the comments. I just want you to know that it's not been validated or proven to be a good binder. And there are better things for you like zeolite, especially if you've had gadolinium toxicity. So zeolite is our go-to for the binder, although we will use activated charcoal as well, because both of those are very broad spectrum for what they can adsorb or pick up through ion exchange. So they're both very, very good binders. Now, I will say one other piece about binders. There are other binders that have usefulness for things like mold toxicities or other pathogens. They would be things like bentonite clay and enteros gel. So those are the ones I would tell you to use if you tell me that you've had exposure to mold or Lyme or something like that. Okay, she says, how long to wait before and after eating or drinking or taking supplements before taking binders? So that's a great question because there's a lot of misinformation out there about zeolite. I have written a blog article about zeolite clinoptilolite. Is it safe? It's in my blog section of our website, and it's a good read for people who really have been given a lot of misinformation about zeolite. Now, activated charcoal is known for picking up minerals and therefore is not safe to use long term. I'm talking like every day for a year. But on a 30-day program, it's perfectly okay to take, but we use it when you start your first sauna cycle, and then that's the last time we're going to use it. We're going to be using zeolite throughout the rest of your day or into the evening, or what have you, whenever you do your program. But the thing is that, or when you do your session, the thing is that zeolite is not going to pick up good minerals. In fact, it's loaded with them, and it will release the good minerals into the system in what's called an ion exchange. And it does this because it has a higher affinity for these higher atomic weighted poisons like heavy metals and positively charged poisons as well, because it does both adsorption and ion exchange. So that's one of the best things about the zeolite is that it's safe to take around food. In fact, you can literally take zeolite with food. The animal studies that they have done with zeolite always had the zeolite in the food. And the actual nutrient, when they tested the nutrient levels, they were increased. So there's a good sign right there. Now, the other thing with zeolite that I love is the fact that it's cleaning the bile acids that are recirculating from the liver and bringing into the small intestine those toxins that the liver was unable to break down into more water-soluble derivatives. So the bile acids are getting cleaned by the zeolite in the small intestine. And this is very important for helping to detox the liver. So it's actually helping the liver. This is another reason why our protocol is well known for being able to support the detox organs. It's just one of several things involved. I mean, there's lecithin that's a primary source of choline. Choline and niacin both support glutathione, supports the liver again. But as far as the other feature that zeolite does that I love, is the fact that studies show that the villi in the small intestine, which are these finger-like protrusions that have blood passing through, and the nutrients from the food that you're eating are being brought into the blood circulation from the villi. The zeolite is actually shown to improve the surface area of the villi, as well as providing a little bit of filtration or chelation of the blood passing through that. And zeolite is also known for being the strongest binder for gadolinium for those of you who've had an MRI or several MRIs with contrast. So let's see. Oh, one other piece about zeolite is the fact that because of the bile acids, the best time to take it is about 30 minutes after eating a meal that has fatty foods. So the fatty foods are going to trigger more bile acids, which are there to break down the fatty acids and oils and things like that, so that the body can digest them better. And then what's great about that is that 30 minutes after you've eaten a fatty food, the bile acids are going to be their most intense. They're going to be in the greater volume, and that's where the cleanup efforts of the zeolite are going to be the most effective. Moving on. So she says, benefits or concerns of including coffee enemas. Well, I got to tell you, I'm not a huge fan of coffee enemas. They do drain minerals, and frankly, I don't think I would ever want one. I've just felt like that just doesn't sound like something I would want to do. However, I know a lot of people do it and they swear by it. I would say that I do know of people who have done coffee enemas while doing our protocol, but maybe only once during a 30-day program. But I will say too that there's no evidence that it's going to improve. In fact, I would say it's probably stressful to the body, just like our program. And why add more stress to the program with a coffee enema? So it's up to you if you want to do it. Just know that I'm not recommending it. So, all right, next one is benefits or concerns using ozone in sauna, like the portable pods that have the ozone that you put a little cover around your neck and all that. Okay, so here's the thing. Those kind of saunas are not good for our protocol, as far as you can't really use them to generate a good sebaceous sweat. There's time limits you can have on those, and so it's something that I would not use an ozone pod type sauna for this protocol. Now, doing them in conjunction with, like, later in the day or something like that, that's perfectly fine. But our program has never used the ozone pods. So, and it's just not going to create a good sebaceous sweat to detox. Okay, thoughts on using EDTA suppositories while doing the protocol? Yeah, if you want, go ahead. Frankly, EDTA's got one specialty, and that is lead. So if you have lead toxicity, sure, go ahead. But I would say that if you don't even have to think about doing something like this. Our protocol is so powerful that it doesn't need it. But if you have them, you want to use them, go ahead. All right, so that was the end of her questions. And did that spark any questions in the audience today? Just unmute and go ahead and shoot them out there. Vanessa?
Yeah, I have a question about the total niacin dose.
Okay.
What the purpose of that is, because it seems like you just figure it and then don't really do anything with it.
So
I wasn't sure what that meant.
I understand that you're new to our program and watch the Wendy Myers podcast. Thank you. So the problem with doing the podcast is I did not get to be able to explain the program, how it really does work and what the niacin is all about. And since you're bringing it up and we've got time, there is the part 2 video that I have already produced, but I can quickly go through and explain to you how niacin is used in this program. Would you like me to do that?
Well, I think I understand the niacin, what it does.
Let's hear your understanding.
My understanding is that it induces the body to release toxins through the blood vessels dilating, and then when you use the sauna, it can flush them out, and then you're going to capture them with the zeolites. That's pretty elementary.
You're so close. You're so close. The problem is that the flush is a temporary mechanism. There are two things that niacin actually is a catalyst for. The flush being the one that most people do know about. So a flush is caused by what's called prostaglandin PGD2 hormones that relax the capillary walls. So when the capillary walls are relaxed, they allow a lot more red blood cells to flow through, which does push bloodborne toxins out to the skin layers where they can then be sweated out.
Mhm.
The thing is that the prostaglandins will diminish. They'll be depleted over a period of time, and it's probably between 7 and 10 days, because you're taking niacin daily and you're increasing the dose daily. And the reason we do that is for the secondary effect that we're actually needing. It's called rebound lipolysis. You'll hear me say in other videos, lipolysis. I used to love the way that came off my tongue, but I think lipolysis is the more appropriate way. So rebound lipolysis is what I was actually planning to show you, and I can do that with
Okay.
another slide deck. So here's the thing. The study that you're looking at here, this is a graph from a study that was done by Wang et al. In fact, I've got my mouse, I can move, yes. So Wang et al. Did this study back in 2000. It wasn't found, we did not know about this study until 2014, and it changed everything for us. And it'll make more sense when I get to that part. But what you're seeing here is a glucose study done on women. It had nothing to do with the detox. And the women were the control group as well as the study group. They came back a couple of months after they did the control study. So what they did was they took blood measurements every half hour over a 6-hour period of time to measure the free fatty acid concentrations in the blood plasma over that period of time. Now, free fatty acids are the result of the breakdown of the triglycerides in fat, and it's called lipolysis. Now, lipolysis means that the triglycerides are being broken down into a glycerol and 3 fatty acids, and there's literally millions of them in a fat cell. So there's a lot of these glycerols and fatty acids that are being produced by this lipolysis. Now, the reason this is being done is for ATP production, or adenosine triphosphate production. So our mitochondria in the fat cells, or in all cells for that matter, are the energy powerhouses. And so we produce this ATP energy through mitochondria, and the fuel that they need is these glycerols and free fatty acids, or fatty acids at this point. So once the lipolysis has happened, the free fatty acids leave the fat cells to go populate other cells in the body that also have mitochondria that produce ATP. So when this transport of the free fatty acids happens, it's measurable in the blood. So what you're seeing in the Y column, or the Y axis, is the volumes of the free fatty acids during this period of time. So in the control group without the niacin, what you see here is the fact that it's a flat line almost. There's a couple peaks here, but those are places where they were probably doing something that needed more energy, like they were walking. But when they were doing the measurements, they were basically just capturing what was going on throughout the day over a 6-hour period. Now, note that anytime there's liberation of free fatty acids from fat, there's also, because of lipid mobilization, there is also a release of minuscule amounts of fat stored toxins, which we prefer to call xenobiotics. However, toxins is easier to say. So the free fatty acids are going to release a little bit of these fat stored toxins. And in fact, if you've ever done a HIIT workout or something really strenuous, you're actually liberating at a higher level because you're producing more ATP. And so there's more free fatty acids that are measurable in the fat, or in the blood, I'm sorry. So when you've done a HIIT workout, if you feel headache or nauseous, they tell you got to build up a lactic acid, but in reality, you've released more toxins than your body was prepared for. So, and you're not doing anything about it like a sauna or binders. So now, when somebody's given niacin, on the other hand, niacin has this secondary effect beyond the flush of diminishing or depressing or inhibiting the body's ability to produce ATP at normal levels. It's actually reducing the lipolysis. So during the time that it takes for it to metabolize, you're getting this setup for what is called rebound lipolysis. And so when the niacin wears off, which is approximately after about 2.5 to 3 hours, if you want to know the details, niacin has a half-life of 20 to 45 minutes, and it goes through 5.5 half-lives before it wears off. And once it does, the body's able to resume lipolysis. And at this point here, typically it's invariably going to overshoot, and that's what's called rebound lipolysis. And what you measure is about 4 times normal levels of free fatty acids, which translates to 3 times the normal levels of niacin, of xenobiotics or toxins being released back into circulation. And that then is pushed by exercise to the dermal regions. So we take advantage of this peak and put you into 20 to 30 minutes of low impact aerobic exercise. And then you're going to go through about 75 total minutes of the sauna time, which in an infrared sauna is about 75 minutes. Dry saunas take a little bit longer. And in fact, we can go through some of this. Saunas make a difference. We used to use dry saunas only, and it turns out the infrared saunas actually do a much better job. Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, for example, in a 1-hour period demonstrated that a dry sauna produces 95 to 97% water, while the dry saunas, actually, I mean, the infrared saunas are producing 80 to 85% water, and the remainder are these sebaceous sweat, or the sebaceous sweat containing cholesterol, fat soluble toxins, toxic heavy metals, sulfuric acid, sodium, ammonia, and uric acid. Now, Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt, if you didn't know, he is considered an authority on the subject of environmental toxicity and its connection with disease. So he's the name most people do know. But anyway, on our protocol, we commonly see towels that look stained from toxins that are coming out that have a color to them. This happens to be a meth cop that came in after seeing our Utah Meth Cops project, the study that was done on 68 police officers who were involved in meth lab raids. And this is one of the towels that we call tie-dyed. It's a tie-dye towel. He would sometimes do just brown or tan towels. Sometimes there was a bluish purple stain, and then most of the time it was these tie-dye towels. And we identified, by the way, the bluish purple as being Drano, sodium hydroxide, one of the chemicals used in the manufacturing of meth. This happens to be one of the first responders at the cleanup efforts at Ground Zero who was sweating out, apparently based on this swatch that was sent into a lab, morbidly high levels of manganese. So this bluish purple stain on his towels was manganese, which is used in the steel construction for the towers. So every time they go to move any debris to clean up, there'd be a new dust cloud that would raise, and they weren't really wearing proper personal protective equipment, or if they did have a respirator, there was the wrong filters and things like that. So they were breathing in or absorbing through their skin a lot of the stuff that was in that dust, that was would basically form the dust cloud you saw rolling down the streets of Manhattan. These are general benefits, but we've seen many different conditions with no known etiology that are non-communicable and non-genetic reversed with this program. It's amazing. You can watch this whole video to see more about that. But the differences I'm not going to go through right here, but what I wanted to show you was the fact that we're actually talking about 20 to 30 minutes of exercise followed by 45 minutes in an infrared sauna. And you work up to these values, by the way, these times. Then there's a cool down break, followed by another 30 minutes, which you certainly need to work up to do the full 75. But this is an infrared sauna, okay? The way we used to do things with the dry saunas, because that's all we knew about for 36 years, was doing in and out of a sauna, and it took 4.5 to 5 hours. The thing was that the results were happening after the 4.5 to 5 hours on a regular basis, and it turns out that the rebound lipolysis we knew about, but we didn't know that in humans it took 2.5 to 3 hours. That study wasn't even done until 2000. So the study my father had from a 1966, or the chart he had from a 1966 study, showed that the rebound occurred after 40 to 50 minutes, and then it would last throughout the 4.5 to 5 hours. So it made sense that it took that long. The problem was the study was done on sheep, and apparently sheep metabolize niacin much faster than humans. So once we've realized that the first 3 hours were a waste of time, we stopped putting people on that program. we were able to, with the infrared sauna and the better understanding of rebound lipolysis, we were able to condense it down to a 2-hour window. But if you have a dry sauna, this is how you do our program with the dry sauna. So you'd still be in and out. That's because they're so oppressively hot that you can't sit in a sauna like this for more than 15 to 20 minutes without having to cool down. These things run at 180 to 200 degrees Fahrenheit, and just you don't sit in these for very long. You have to, go in and heat up and cool down and heat up and cool down. And it does take a while in a dry sauna to produce sebaceous sweat. And that's what we need. The sebum is the oily lipid material that the sebaceous oil glands produce. And this is how we sweat lipophilic toxins out of the body. We don't sweat anything out through our eccrine watery sweat. And the beginning of the video I'm showing you, the slide deck too, describes exactly how I debunk those debunking articles that say you cannot sweat toxins out through your sweat glands in a sauna. And that's 100% correct. You don't. So watch the video. There's a teaser for you. Anyway, so I hope that helps to clear up, why niacin. Oh, it doesn't yet, because I had to tell you too that the body has a built-up tolerance each day to the niacin. So we have to overcome that body buildup, and it typically is a 100 milligram increase per day. However, it is weight dependent, so body mass dependent. So if you weigh less than 200 pounds, for example, then you're pretty good at 100 milligram increases per day. But if you weigh between 2 and 300, you're going to be doing about 200 milligrams per day, and so on. So anyway, does that answer the question, Vanessa? And you are still muted there, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Great. I could not use
I
that.
hadn't-
Go ahead.
I had one other question. You said that you'd recorded the past chats. I didn't know where you could access those.
Our YouTube channel is Get Detoxinated, and
Okay.
it is where I post all of the prior Zoom-ins that had a need to be recorded. In other words, there's been several where there wasn't enough activity to even bother recording. So this one, fortunately, we had some great questions, especially the written ones. But the thing is that, this video I will be posting, but I typically start with the Facebook group. So if you didn't know, I have a Facebook group, and it's the same name as this book. So Sauna Detoxification Using Niacin.
Okay,
I welcome you to join us if you're on Facebook.
great. Thank you.
Yeah, I was about to say, though, with the Wendy Myers podcast, I could not present any kind of visual aids. And, it's more difficult to try to explain rebound lipolysis without it. So,
Oh no, I thought you did an excellent job. It was
well,
very
thank you.
interesting.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, does anybody else have any other questions, or do you, Vanessa, have any other questions?
No, I'm good.
All right. Did I just see
Yeah.
Julie?
Yes. Hi, Dan. I finally was able to get my Zoom to work. I
Awesome.
don't know what was going on. But so I'm almost finished with your book, and I purchased your kit. And I was wondering, you had mentioned a while ago that you needed a few days in advance to book with you to start the protocol. Is that still, or are you still, what is your timing right now?
Oh, so I think what you're asking is, I could be wrong, but
To have you coach, yeah.
yeah, for my coaching, my remote detox coaching, it's best that you schedule at least a day or two in advance of actually starting.
Mhm.
Mostly because the information is sometimes overwhelming, and I don't want it to go through too long of a period before you actually start. So
Mhm.
if you do it within a couple of days of starting your program, then it'll be fresh. And also, usually with people who've never experienced the flushing form of niacin, I like to have you take at least a 50 milligram dose. And if you only have the 100 milligram capsules to work with, you just twist one apart, whichever side has the most in it, that's the one you take. And you start at 50 milligrams for most people. Again, that's kind of body mass dependent as well. I mean, if you weigh more around 180, probably tolerate a 100 milligram dose, but I'm not saying that about you. Just saying that if somebody was
Sure.
in a higher body mass, it's probably okay to start at 100 milligrams. But I will have you do a 50 milligram dose at the beginning of an orientation training meeting, so that if you have any kind of concerns about the flush, because you've never experienced it before, I'll be there to make sure that you're not having any real problems. In fact, the real problems would be something more like dramatic hives, and that is so rare that I may have only seen it once, where somebody had extreme hives when they took niacin. Even those with mast cell activation syndrome, MCAS, they could still tolerate it, because we would also, for our program, be using vitamin C. And vitamin C is a histamine destroyer. And in fact, Dr. Abram Hoffer, the late psychiatrist that's known as the guru of niacin, was curing MCAS with large doses of vitamin C and then introducing niacin for its histamine response. So just know that, I want to make sure that you're going to experience the niacin flush and it's, you know, something that you're able to feel and tolerate, and we'll know that you're able to go through the program.
Okay, and the other question is did you say for if you were gadolinium sensitive and had some MRIs, I had a number of them. Did you say that you might need for each one, you might need to do 3? Or what if you've had like,
No, it's not so much. It's not so much that based on a number of gadolinium, you know, IVs or injections or dyes. It's a case of if you've had a lot, you should plan to do this program multiple times.
Okay.
My most extreme case that I've worked with directly is one who's had 32 gadolinium injections. And
Hmm.
so she went through the program with me 5 times, and then she did 2 more that I know of. She may have done another one too. It got to a point where she just became obsessed with it. She wanted to keep going, you know. Not that she needed to, but she wanted to keep going and detox her body even more each day or each time. So, but you know, she had 32 gadolinium injections and went through it 5 times with me. And during those 5 times, she went from being bedridden and disabled to being able to dance again. And so she's my best case that I do like to talk about.
Wow, that's impressive. Thank you.
Yeah, in fact, for those who've had gadolinium, one of the things we recommend, because gadolinium is a calcium channel blocker, is that you start to supplement with the D3K2, and that will help the body to absorb calcium better. So that's something. And also, regardless of our protocol, if gadolinium is a known toxin in your body, I would get on zeolite, and you know, my go-to zeolite is the hyaltrophin brand. So this is what I write about in, oh, it's green. I got a green screen going. Anyway, so the hyaltrophin brand is something that you can find on our website, shop at getdetoxinated.com/shop. And it's in the detox support products or additional detox support products.
Thank you, Dan.
My pleasure. So anybody else have anything they'd like to add? Well, we got through a good 45 minutes at least, so this will be a great video. I look forward to uploading, and you guys can find it firstly in the Facebook group, and then I will also be posting it to my YouTube channel at Get Detoxinated. So, all right, guys. Well, let's go ahead and call it a night if nobody has anything else to add. And again, thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.